Hello, hello, it's Trevor. It's Trevor. We're gonna enter a phase one day where we don't have to look into the camera and say, "Is all the sound working? Are we good? Are we good? Is the video working? It's good. I see a few people in. That's great. That's great. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hello, it's Trevor. It's Trevor. You are here for. Let me add this to the screen. Mercury goes retro. Mercury goes retro. There's always a bit of heart rate when you're trying to figure out these streams. Let's see if it works. Let's see, do we have confirmation? I think it's good. I think it's good. In the future, we won't have to do all this. Hello, it's Trevor. This is, and I see a little heart. So things must be good. Heart must mean that it is all working. Good. And I heard somebody said works, exclamation point. Okay, hello. This is Mercury Goes Retro. Yes, my name is Trevor. I'm sure a lot of you already know me, okay? But there might be, who knows, 5% of people that don't know me, who've only seen me for the first time. So hello, newfound Trevor people. This is me. I usually don't have a beard like this. I was young once. There's quite a bit of beard, There's quite a bit of gray in this current beard, but I was a stubble boy at one time. I run a thing called Plateau Astro. Now, for people who know me, they say, "Oh my God, this is all he talks about. He won't shut up about it." It's true. But for the 5% of people who have never heard of me before, Plateau Astro, it's a little thing, a little space teaching company that I run here in Montreal, in the Plateau. It rhymes, so I went with it. Something I used to do, and I'll go through this stuff really quick. I'm sure a lot of you have already known this. Get a beverage. Take your time. I'll have a drink. Too. Introduce myself a little bit. I used to be able to bring my telescope into the streets of Montreal and show people the sky. Here's a shot of me showing some people the moon a few years ago. Here's another, me teaching somebody in the street, but that's beside Montreal Metro Station, if you do remember that. Here is one more. I used to be able to add this little attachment on the telescope. You can put your phone on there and get photos of the moon, like this, with an affordable telescope, okay? With a normal phone, with a phone. Here's another photo of the moon. And there's a photo of the full moon. This is from a while ago, but you could get images like this just with your phone, okay? Events. Yes, my gosh, what a tease. What a tease to talk about this. I used to be able to do events. Oh, it was such fun. The halcyon days of events. Well, we used to go up to the mountain, Mount Royal, and we used to watch the moon rise come up. This seems so irresponsible to do. Look at these. These people aren't masked at all. What is this? We used to watch the full moon come up. This would be one event I used to do. I can't wait to be able to do it again. Hopefully, maybe this summer, maybe next fall, we'll be able to do that together. I also do another show. It's just coincidence I'm wearing this sweater. I swear, they're not paying for this. Shame on them. I do a show with National Geographic called Observatoire. I do the English one because you don't want to hear me talking French. This is an outdoor planetarium show, okay, where I show you the constellations using a magical headset, and I show you stories, tell you stories, all about the constellations and help you learn how to understand the night sky. So I do have some bona fides. I swear I do. I'm an amateur though, okay? Clearly, if you can't smell it on me already, I'm an amateur, okay? I think I took 2 classes in university about astronomy. It wasn't my major at all. It was not my focus. But just to let you know, this is what an amateur can end up doing. He can end up yelling in front of bricks in his apartment and teach people online. Speaking of online, my gosh, this year, the internet, what a hero. Online, I've been doing a lot of online teaching. I wanted this year to do in-person teaching a lot more in sort of a theater setting. Couldn't do it. Plan was foiled. But online, I've had to do a lot. And I've actually kind of started to really enjoy this medium, okay? We'll all be happy when this is done. But I've actually really enjoyed teaching online. And I've done a lot of it. There's this number here, 160, okay? That's like almost a half turn? No. I added it up the other day, about a week or so ago. How many streams did I do throughout 2020? I did quite a few. It was 160. I did about 160 live streams in 2020. So I've gotten used to talking into rectangles of all sorts of sizes. I got my laptop here. I got you here. Got my iPad here. I've got another phone right here. My gosh. Glass rectangles. Hello, darkness, my old friend. This though, for those who've known me before and my live streams, I usually do live streams on Facebook and Instagram, and those have been a lot of fun. And those ones I'm usually over caffeinated. Not that I am right now. Whew, boy, it is coursing through me tonight. Those are kind of quicker ones, and those are fun to do. I love doing those. This one though, this what I'm doing right now is it's going to be longer. Okay, I've got slides ready. Okay, you're not getting close-ups of my big old beard here. This one's longer. Okay, what I want to do more of these. Okay, the way I try to do these is I want them to be about 30 minutes long, and I kind of want them to be like live stream essays. I just thought of this before the stream started. Live stream essays that are hopefully, you know, entertaining. Something that, like, you know, maybe every week or something I would do a different essay, sort of like a blog post, but in live stream sort of form, because live stream, you get your blood pumping. If I was still wearing my Apple Watch, this thing would be beeping off. They'd be saying you're having a heart attack. Took it off, couldn't take it. So one last thing, and then we're going to get into the show. For hire. Last week I taught some kids, some homeschool kids, over a video like this. We had a ball. It was a blast. Want to let you know, if you have a classroom or you've got a youth group or something like that, and you're looking for some jackal like me, or i.e. me, to teach them about anything about space, about astronomy, if it's space flight, if they want to hear about Canadian Space Agency or NASA or something like that, whatever they want to learn, I could probably adjust a topic and make something for them. So if you do, you can get in touch, okay? plateauastro.com/contact. I have a little form there. Or you can just send me an email or shout it into the void, and I'll hear you. I'll hear you, okay? I would love to teach and do more of this. Now, here we go. Let's get to the story, man. What's the story? Okay. Mercury goes retro, and your fancy little dots here. What are these? We're going to learn what these mean. This is going to make sense, I swear. You're going to be able to take this with you. Mercury goes retro. You probably heard this over the years, and in fact, you've probably heard this a little bit more recently in the last few days, perhaps, because Mercury went into retrograde yesterday on Saturday, and it'll be in retrograde for the next 3 weeks. So we're going to talk about that. Here's some headlines. Because it is in retrograde. Okay, let's look at a few headlines here. Now, I want to preface this with I invited people, anybody come to the show. If you're into space, if you're into astronomy, and even if you're into astrology, I want you to come here. I want to teach you. So I think I kind of used to be a jerk to people who are into astrology. I softened my tone a little bit because I find that's a better way to teach people, okay? So I'm going to be very soft as I can about this, but whatever walk of life, come on in. I'm going to teach you about this. But let's look at some headlines first. Here we got Teen Vogue. Headline: Mercury retrograde on Valentine's Day. What each zodiac should watch out for. You know, very good, nice little warning there. You know, just be aware of it. Watch out for it. Something's going on. Watch out for it. Refiner Train 9, they're a bit more in your face. So watch out. Jesus Christ, watch out. The first Mercury retrograde of 2021 is here. My God, what have we done? What is going on here? Let's just read a little bit of the headline here. Mercury retrograde is by far the most widely dreaded astrological transit. Whew. No, it's not all bad. But still, the swift planet moonwalking through the sky can present serious challenges. Communication becomes a minefield. And the feeling that we're missing something casts a dark shadow over us, or at least it does for me. Oof, this does not sound that fun. What's going to happen over the next 3 weeks here? Goodness gracious me. Elite Daily. The headline here, Elite Daily says, your Mercury retrograde winter 2021 horoscope might inspire a rebellion. Now, I might have phrased that headline a little bit differently, just because people did storm the Capitol a few weeks ago. But hey, you know, I'm not the editor at Elite Daily, so I don't make these decisions. Might inspire a rebellion. Oof. Here's last one here. Mercury is going retrograde, RN. I think that means registered nurse, but I could be wrong. Or it could be right now, who knows? Mercury is going retrograde right now, and professional astrologers call it a tricky situation. Oof, what's going on? What is going on? Now, you know this. You're smart. You're clever. These headlines are obviously kind of taking it from the astrology perspective, okay? Now, would I do something different? My company is named Plateau Astro, yes, but the astro in there stands for astronomy, okay? And astronomy is the one with telescopes, and astrology is the one with horoscopes. Easy way to remember it. Half of my astronomy teaching career is getting people to understand the difference between astronomy and astrology. They get it wrong all the time. Nobody's ever going to do it. I have to accept it. But tonight, I have invited everybody to come and watch this. Again, if you're into space, I encourage you to watch this. If you're in astronomy, I encourage you to watch this. But if you're especially if you're into astrology, I totally encourage you to watch this, but I will be taking this from an astronomy science-based perspective. So let's get in there. I'm just going to check one thing because I think I have some comments here that I can go. If you have questions or comments, obviously throw them in the chat. I will bring them up here. I will get to the questions kind of near the end, obviously. But please go and comment in there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So here's what we're going to learn. Here is what we will learn. First one, how planets move. How the planets move. Okay, that's a big one. That's important to know. What retrograde actually means, okay? It's a specific word. You hear it a lot in astrology talk, but it's a real thing in astronomy too. Third thing, we're going to learn some apps along the way, okay? This is going to be a dedicated section. I'm going to plow them through from time to time. We're going to learn these concepts. There's two that I'm going to use here. The first one is called Solar Walk LITE. This is free, okay? Go ahead and steal it for Android and iOS. The next one I'm going to use isn't free. There's many like it, but the one that I like to use here is called STELLARIUM, and I just like to use it just for certain purposes. But there's great ones out there that are free. If you have questions, you can ask me about that down the road. Now, I mentioned to you, if you do have questions, throw them in the chat. I've dedicated about 30 minutes to talking about this, and then afterwards we're going to take some questions from the chat. But here's some questions I asked a few days ago, or I asked people, hey, send your questions in, and people did send a few of them. These are some 4 questions that I'm going to sort of just give you a little teaser for. I'm going to answer them sort of along the way, more near the end. First one, it's a good one. Is it retrograde for the Earth only or the whole solar system? Seriously, no idea what this means. They literally wrote that. That's from Tatarika. I think I pronounced that right, or perhaps it's just their username. Who knows? Second one. This is a good one. I really don't know the answer to this one. I did do some finding out for this one. How many Mercury retrogrades does the average person see / exist through in a lifetime? Okay, your entire life. Let's say you live to be 82 years old. That's the average lifespan. How many Mercury retrogrades would you actually live through? Exist through? It's a great question, and that is from Mo. This next one, a killer question here. Other planets retrograde. We're going to learn about that. Other planets retrograde. So why have astrologers or pop culture put so much emphasis on Mercury's retrograde motion? Okay, I'll play it again. Other planets retrograde. So why have astrologers or pop culture put so much emphasis on Mercury's retrograde motion? We're going to learn about that. That is from Natalie Ouellette. I think I pronounced her name wrong there. Ouellette? We're going to find out. Last one. We're going to answer these by the end. Last one is, are there any old wacky explanations why planets appear to move in the wrong direction? Very good question. Very good question. We're going to get to that, and that is from Liz. Okay? All right, so let's get into this. Jesus, you've been talking for, and I'll try not to swear. Sorry. I've been talking for 14 minutes. Let's get into this. Okay, if you do have questions, ask away. Throw them in there, and we'll answer them at the end. I'll take any and all questions. They don't have to be about Mercury retrograde, but if they are, hey, you'll win some, fake internet points. Whatever. Okay. First one, how planets move. This is important. How planets move. Let's go back in time. Let's pretend we are ancient. We have no home. We have nothing. We're out there in the fields, sleeping in caves or whatever. No television, no internet, nothing. Ancient people. And all we have to look at is the sky. Okay? That's all we have. Okay? We're ancient folks. We're out there. And we would look at the sky. We would see these dots up in the sky. We would wonder. We wouldn't have explanations. We wouldn't have telescopes. We would have none of this. All we would see up in the sky is dots. Okay? So we might see something kind of like this, all right? And we would see, them each night, and they'd be kind of in the same position, and we would make up stories about these little dots and stuff like that. But then, you notice there's something odd about this one particular one, maybe a couple of them, but one in particular we're going to focus on here. Something odd about this one dot in the sky, okay? And you say to yourself, I'm going to watch this. Whatever language you're speaking back then. I'm going to watch this one very specifically for the next couple of weeks, okay? Or several weeks, I'm going to keep my eye on that one right there. Maybe I'll make a cave painting or something about this. And you decide to watch this one specific dot. This one, in fact, right there. That dot, okay? And so I'm using this app animation here just to show you this. You decide to watch this one dot for a while, and you decide to look at it in the same spot or at the same time every night, and you notice it's kind of moving differently than all the other dots around it. Okay? All the other dots, the stars out there, are all sort of moving, but it's sort of moving on its own. Okay? I'm going to play that one more time. Okay? So we have the dots right here, and we've got that one dot we were focusing on. And you start to watch that one particular dot and see how it moves compared to the other ones. And you see how it's sort of like being very strange. It's moving kind of on its own free will there. What is it doing? What is it doing? You know? It's acting very, you know, it's very special, you think. Okay? Very, very special. What is it doing, that one? It's kind of weird, that dot, is it not? Well, the Greeks, they noticed this. They noticed a couple of those dots in the sky were acting kind of odd, kind of strange, okay? In fact, they decided we're going to give those ones a special name, okay? They seem to be wandering on their own. They have their own sort of free will. What are they doing? They decided to call them a planet, okay? That's where the word comes from. It comes from Greek, and it means wanderer, okay? So whenever you hear the word planet, in the future, it's Greek, and it comes, and it means wanderer. Why is it weird? Why does it wander on its own like that? What's going on here? So basically, here's what's going on. There are stars out there. We see stars in the night sky, and they're really far away, okay? Very, 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 very far away. You can tell that it's very far away because I put the word really in italics there, okay? I've emphasized this. Stars are incredibly, incredibly far away. The planets, however, though, they're relatively close. They're in the neighborhood, man. They're just next door, okay? When we see the planets move, because they're very close, we can see their movements, you know, night by night, basically. Remember a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago, when we saw Jupiter and Saturn, they were up in the sky? And for a few days, we saw Jupiter, it was on the right-hand side of Saturn. And then a few days later, we watched it, and Jupiter was on the left-hand side. Well, they're planets, and they're really close, and we can see them move like that. Relative to the stars, the planets do move quite a bit. So I'm going to emphasize this. I'm going to emphasize this using an app showing how the planets move. Now you're going to say to yourself, like, Trevor, when you're doing this demo, I know how planets move. They move around in circles. Jeff or Daryl or Lynette or whatever your name is, I get it, okay? I really want to emphasize one key thing, but I also want to show this app, okay? Now, they're not paying for this. Shame on them. Shame on them. But I want to show this here, and I want to hammer a point home. So I just got to do a little adjustment here. Let me just point you down like this. Give me one moment here. So it's all part of the show. Okay, and I think I can make it like this, so it's big like that, okay? We're halfway there, okay? There we go, right there. I think that is pretty good, but let me get a preset right here. Thank you for bearing with me. You're getting this for free, so please don't complain. There we go, okay, there we go, okay? So we see here, we have my tablet right here, okay? We can also see a bit of my floor back there. But here, this app is called Solar Walk Lite. Solar Walk Lite. And this gives us a view of the solar system from the top, okay? So we have the sun in the middle, and I can zoom in and out. And we see some of the planets here. We got Mercury, we got the sun, of course. We got Venus right there, and I can zoom out right here, and we're gonna see some of the usual suspects here. We see the Earth right there, and Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. You get it, okay? A cool thing we can do with this app, though, is we can also change sort of the position. We can go change our perspective on that, sort of get a planar sort of view like that. I'm going to go back up like this. The other cool thing we can do is also change the date right here. Okay, so this is today's date at today's time. Is it 8:20 already? Whew, talking for 20 minutes. Good Lord. What I'm going to do, what I'm really trying to prove here is just to show you how the planets move around the sun. Now, I get it. You know this. Most of you know this, all right? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move forward in time, okay? Now, here's all the planets, okay? I'll zoom in. I'll focus on Mercury. Mercury is going counterclockwise. Venus is going counterclockwise. Earth is going counterclockwise. Mars is going counterclockwise. All the planets are going counterclockwise, okay? They all go in the same direction, and they always will, and nobody can stop that except maybe God. And even then, who knows, okay? That is my point that I'm trying to make here. They're all going in this direction in the future. They're always, always, always going to do that, okay? Now, that's a lot of work for me to move this whole camera here to make that point, but I want to make sure you get this, okay? They're always moving like this, okay? We can go years into the future and they will still, maybe that's a little bit psycho, they will always go in this direction. Are we clear? We're clear? Good, good. I'm gonna move you back up here. Let me shift the camera back this way, all right? This is called amateur streaming here. I'm gonna move back to that one. Okay, here we go. Okay, the point I'm trying to make there. The point I am trying to make there, and I'm just going to adjust that stream. There we go. The point I'm trying to make there is they all go around the sun. They move around the sun like that, okay? Trevor, I get this. Why are you explaining this to me, okay? I'm not a child. I get it, okay? What I'm trying to show here is they're going around like that, okay? They're going around the sun. They're going around the sun, and they're all going in the same direction, okay? This is chief. This is important. Why are you bringing this up? Because I'm going to show you a headline from the Jackals down at, I think they're called Express. I think they're from England, okay? Look at this headline, okay? Express, I don't know where they're from. Mercury retrograde. How will your horoscope react to full backwards spin? Full backwards spin? Full backwards spin? What? What are they talking about here? We just saw all the planets go in the same direction. Now this headline, I gotta take issue with it. Full backwards spin. Mercury didn't go backwards. Venus didn't go backwards. Earth didn't go backwards. The planets all went into the same direction. So why would, what's the name of this place? Express. Why would they make a headline like this? Why would they do it to us? Malpractice. Why would they do it? Well, we've seen this diagram. Okay, I've used this in the marketing for this thing. I've shown this at the beginning. I showed it in the video at the beginning. What gives? What is this? Let's take a drink of water and find out. All right, you've seen images like this before in my marketing and stuff. What's going on here? If you were to do this, if you were to take a photo a few weeks in a row of a planet, it would look something like this. Now, I'm taking this from a Vox video that I'm going to link to a little bit later. This is kind of how it would look over a few weeks' time, okay? What we would see, and this is for the planet Mars, not Mercury, but the point still stands, okay? You would take a photo every day, and over a few weeks, you would notice something, okay? The planet would appear to go down to the left like that, and then would do this weird loop like that, relative to the stars behind it, okay? Now, this is a Mars retrograde, I believe from 2003. Okay, I'm going to play this one more time just to emphasize the point. This isn't mine, okay? This is from a video that I'm going to link to later. Mars, you would take a photo of it. It would appear to move in the night sky a few weeks in a row, and then it would do this weird loop like that. And what this is a retrograde. Now, this is for retrograde of Mars. We're going to talk about other planets in a second here. But it does this loop. What is this doing? I think this is what that headline is getting to, okay? That full backwards spin. So let's try and learn what retrograde means. What retrograde means, okay? Retrograde, mainly, is an illusion. It's an illusion. In that app I just showed you, we did not see the planets all of a sudden go backwards, okay? Earth didn't go backwards. They all went in the same direction, but we kept seeing this illusion, okay? We call it apparent retrograde motion. Why do we have the scare quotes there? Why do we call it apparent? Because. From our point of view here on Earth, we see it make this loop-to-loop. There is no actual going backwards, but this is what we're seeing. So in the app here, we were seeing the planets all go around like this, but somehow we were seeing the planets doing this like loop-de-loop thing. So from our view here on Earth, the planet appears to travel backwards, okay? Now, Mercury is going to be in retrograde January 30th to February 21st. So over the next 3 weeks, it's going to appear to do this loop thing, okay? Now, I'm going to show that Vox video, and then I'm going to do a demo with the app again, okay? This Vox video is actually only like less than 4 minutes long. I probably could have saved you like an hour's worth of your time this night. But this is fun to do this live. I'm just going to show a little clip from this showing what it is, what's actually going on, but I'm going to show it in app form in just a moment here. Okay, I'm going to load up the video from here. Give me a second.
Here's a diagram of how the Mercury retrograde illusion would work. This line shows our view of Mercury against the background stars. As Mercury passes us by, our line of sight shifts so that for about 3 weeks, Mercury will appear to loop back on itself when viewed from Earth. It's simply a function of two objects orbiting in the same direction at different speeds. If you stood on Mercury, you would see Earth make an apparent loop too.
Okay, so I'm going to show this with the app again. I'm going to show two different apps here, okay? So I'm going to bring you down over here. Give me a second there. If you do have questions, you can obviously throw them into the chat. You don't want the beard there. Oh gosh, let's do this quick, Trev. You got to get faster at that. Okay, wide. There we go. And I'm going to change the brightness for you. Give me 1 second. Once we have more money, we won't have to do this anymore. Okay. So what I'm going to show here is actually a different app than this one that I showed before. What I'm going to show here is an app called Stellarium. Okay, in this app, we're going to see how we can Mercury from our point of view here on Earth. Okay, Mercury, like some of the other planets out there, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, we can see it with the naked eye. It's a little bit tough compared to the other ones, but it is possible. Give me 1 second to get all set up. There we go. Okay, so what we have here, we have the night sky, and we have it set to early January, okay? January at about, I'm going to put this to about 4:30 p.m., okay? So at about 4:30 p.m., the start of this year on January 1st, the sun would have already set on the horizon, and Mercury would be right here, okay, low on the horizon. Now, I'm going to keep the time exactly the same. I'm going to keep the time at 4:30 p.m. I'll get it exactly at 4:30 p.m. so you can prove that I'm not cheating, okay? And I'm going to move just the date forward, okay? Watch what happens with Mercury when I move the date forward, okay? So I'm keeping the time exactly the same. Let's just go forward in time. Watch what happens to Mercury. It goes up, it goes up, it goes up. It keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, like that. And then eventually, what we see here is it going down like that. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time. Okay, I'm going to go back to here. Okay, Mercury again right there. 4:30 p.m. It appears to be going up. Now this is over several weeks. Okay, not on one night, but we see Mercury going up like that, and then it sort of peaks right there, and then starts going down around the end of January like that. Okay. Now, what's causing this? What is causing this? I'm going to show you that app again one more time, Solar Walk Lite, but show it from a different perspective, okay? So here's that app one more time. And this here is not our view on Earth, but a view from atop the sun right here, okay? So again, we saw Earth right here, Mercury right there, and the sun right there, okay? And just at the time right there. So early January, Mercury was right there, Earth is right here, and you can see Mercury is going to kind of come around the bend of the sun like this, okay? Now this perspective right here, this top view, doesn't really show us too much, but what we can do is we can adjust the angle like this, and this will make a bit more sense. This is more what we're actually going to be seeing on Earth. And I'm just going to flip it up like this, okay? So I'm going to move the date back to January 1st, what I did in the other app there. And remember how Mercury was kind of going up and then it went down, okay? We're going to see that same thing, but from outside of Earth, okay? So I'm going to go up, and you see Mercury is right there. Mercury is going to move up like this, like that. And then you're going to notice it's going to start to go down in a second. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit there so we can get a better view of it. It'll go up like that. And then it'll start to fall back down like that, okay? Now, why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Well, Mercury takes a shorter amount of time for it to go around the sun, okay? And so what we're seeing is it looping up like that and then down again like that, I think I said the words like that, probably a bit too much. Now we're going to see this a few more times this year. Mercury's going to go up and then down like that. I keep saying like that. All right, so let's loop back around like this, like this, like that. Okay. So what I showed there is sort of just a different perspective of what we can, there we go. Two different perspectives. We're getting the one that we see here on Earth using that Stellarium app. If we were just to look in the west, and we would see it go up and then down like that. And then we get to see it from a solar system perspective, okay, of it sort of coming around the bend like that. Why do I keep saying like that so much? Let's get the slides. All right, there. Okay. So that shows the two different perspectives, so we can see it. So what we're seeing there is kind of like the racetrack of the solar system. Now, if you were here last month, I guess that'd be about 5 or 6 weeks ago, we were talking about Jupiter and Saturn and how the solar system is kind of like a racetrack. And Mercury has sort of an inner track compared to the Earth. It takes a less amount of time for it to go around, about 3 months for it to go around versus the Earth. And so it can complete the circuit quicker than we can. Okay, ultimately, what is Mercury retrograde? It's an illusion. It's an illusion. The planets aren't going backwards. They're not changing direction all of a sudden. It's just an illusion from our view here on Earth. Now, let's just get some of these questions I was showing people, I was showing earlier. Let's see what they asked, okay? If you do have questions about that demo, I know that might not be the clearest thing, I'm realizing now. Using my phone camera here to show that might be a little bit hard. That's why we got to raise some funds to get maybe Trevor a better Mac so he can illustrate that a little bit better. Trevor, don't talk about your faults. Okay, let's get to some of these questions people asked. Is it retrograde for the Earth only or for the whole solar system? Seriously, no idea what this means. That's a great question. That's a great question. In that app, that Solar Walk Lite, what we could do is we can look at what Mercury would look like from the perspective of a different planet, okay? It is retrograde from our perspective here on Earth, but on, say, another planet like Mars, it would be not retrograde because Mars is in a different part of the solar system. So let's take Mars, for example, okay? I did a video recording of this, and I did the same sort of thing, the demo I just did. And here's the date. It is kind of near December last year. And you can, it's a little bigger for you. You can see Mercury rising up like that. Just get the date right there. So this is early January, okay? And Mercury is rising like that. Now this is Mars right here. And Mercury goes up, and then it starts to gravitate downwards like that. Gravitate's probably the wrong word to use there, but it starts to go down like that. Now on Earth, this happened around January 25th or something like that. Here on Mars, it happens earlier, a few days earlier by chance. And it keeps going around the sun like that. And goes into the opposite of retrograde. There is a thing called the opposite of retrograde. I think posigrade is the name for it. And it continues there. So, yeah, on other planets, and it's not planetary specific, but on different parts of the solar system, retrograde would happen at different times. It would still happen, Mercury retrograde, just depending on your perspective of the planet as it's going, looping around the sun. Okay. Let's go to this next question here from Mo, I believe. Yes. Okay. How many Mercury retrogrades does the average person see exist through in a lifetime? I think what he's referring to here, Mo, thank you for the question. I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago called 1,000 Full Moons. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but basically I tried to calculate if you live the average lifespan of an average Canadian, how many full moons would you actually see? And I calculated that it would be about 1,000 full moons. So every full moon that you see is 1 out of 1,000 in your average lifespan. Similar to this question, how many Mercury retrogrades does the average person see in a lifetime? Now there's about 3 or 4 retrogrades per year. It changes a little bit. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. So we're going to take the number 3.5, okay? And all we have to do is go 3.5 times 82, the number of years you live, and we'll find out how many Mercury retrogrades you will see in your lifetime. And you will see about 287 retrogrades in your lifetime. Hopefully that answers your question. Obviously, don't throw up in the chat. Throw other questions into the chat. I will try to answer them as well. So about 287 Mercury retrogrades. That's how many you would see in your lifetime. Next question. Other planets, this is coming from Natalie. Other planets retrograde, so why have astrologers or pop culture put so much emphasis on Mercury's retrograde motion? That's a great question. Great question. You hear people talk about Mercury retrograde very often, about every 3 or 4 months or so, but you don't hear them talk about Venus retrograding. You don't hear about Mars retrograding too often, Jupiter or Saturn. Why not? Well, because Mercury retrogrades so often, about 3 or 4 times a year. That's probably why it hits the news cycles so often, okay? Venus, for instance, it retrogrades about every 18 months, okay? So you might hear a story about it, but not that frequently, okay? Etymology. I love etymology. I love the origins of words, and this is a fun one right here, okay? There's 2 words I really enjoy, okay? First one, mercurial, okay? What does this word mean, okay? Mercurial means subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind. Why? Why is it called mercurial? Because Mercury goes around the sun so fast. It takes about 90 days, about 3 months for it to go around the sun. We have named words after it like that. So Mercury goes around the sun quite quickly, about every 3 months or so. Do we have a word? For a planet that goes slowly around the sun? Do we have a word for that? Maybe Jupiterine, Uranustine, Neptunian? We do. We actually do. There's a word. 90 days. That's for Mercury. We have a word. It is called Saturnine. Saturnine. I think we should try to. We should all. I don't know. Win a prize every time we get to use this word in casual conversation. Oh, Niall, stop being so Saturnine. Frasier, kids, man. Frasier. Saturnine. It means of a person or their manner. Slow and gloomy. Slow and gloomy. Why? I think I've already spoiled the answer for you. Because Saturn moves so slowly around the sun, somebody who's Saturnine, it comes from the planet Saturn. Why? Because it takes so long for it to go around. It takes 28.5 years for Saturn to go around the sun once, and Mercury, it goes around so quickly. Now, I think there is a Shakespeare character. There's got to be somebody smart in the audience, okay? Let's find this. Let's go into the comments here. Mercutio. Am I wrong about this? There's somebody named Mercutio in a Shakespeare thing. Is that Hamlet? Or is that Midnight Summer's Nightmare? Something like that? There's got to be something, okay? Mercutio. I think he was a character who could get angry really quickly, okay? The element, Mercury. Why did we call it Mercury? Well, Mercury, the element, the thing you see in thermometers, that reacts very quickly, changes to heat or lack of heat, okay? It comes from the naming of the planet Mercury. Or maybe the element we found first and then we named Mercury after. I'm not sure, okay? But it comes from there. Next question. Romeo and Juliet. Okay. Romeo, Juliet, and chocolate. Last formal question that I have here. This one is actually a really good one, and I do have a video prepared for this one. It's like Jeopardy. It's so fun when there's like in Jeopardy when they have the video daily double or the video question. I guess that would be the answer. Here's the last formal question, and I'll go to your real human questions. Not that these people weren't human. Are there any old wacky explanations why planets appear to move in the wrong direction? What do they mean, the wrong direction? Okay. Now we saw that loop thing from before, okay? And we surmised that the planets don't actually go backwards at all. They don't suddenly change direction that they're going in. All it is our illusion as we are going around the sun. Now, we live, and we now know, we live in a sun-centric world, okay? The sun is in the middle, and the planets go around the sun. This was not always so, children, okay? I know I have a lot of beard. I have a lot of gray in my beard. I'm not that old. There was a time, up till probably, 500 or so years ago, perhaps, we believed that the Earth was in the middle of the solar system. Not just the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, of everything, okay? It isn't until in the last few years, 100 years, that we put the sun in the middle, okay? The Earth used to be in the middle, and I have that Vox video here that sort of explains how we justified retrogrades with the Earth-centric model. Let me throw that up here. Don't throw up, Trev. Okay, here it is.
Retrograde motion was baffling to early astronomers who thought that Earth was stationary and at the center of the solar system. In the 2nd century, Ptolemy devised a complicated system of loops and orbits within orbits to account for the retrograde motion of planets. That model was accepted for 1,500 years because it seemed to fit the observations, even though it was completely wrong. Once Copernicus showed that all the planets, including Earth, move around the sun, then retrograde motion was easily explained as an illusion. So if there's any life lessons to learn from Mercury retrograde, it's that we may be vulnerable to illusions when we think that everything revolves around us.
I can't wait to get sued by Vox Media Corporation for totally ripping off their videos. No, I'm giving them, of course, credit where credit due. Great video. I'll put the link somewhere. Okay, let's go back here. If there are real questions, throw them in there. I did see some great comments in here. Don't drink the retrograde. Don't do it. Don't do it. Thanks, Trevor. Informative. Kamsa. I'll get to answering those questions. If you do have questions, throw them in there. If I need to re-explain anything, happy to do it. Happy to do it. I can also give commentary on why people think. Actually, I can move my head a little bit bigger. I can give commentary on people's, beliefs, or I don't know what you call it, on things sort of going a little bit wacky during Mercury time. Is there scientific evidence for this? But I'll give some personal stories. My stove stopped working. I couldn't create an online Facebook event for this. That's my Crayola box almost fell down this morning. That's got to be Mercury retrograde, right? I don't know. Before we do that, so put that into the chat if you do have any questions. I do want to mention some things, okay? Because I need to not starve, okay? If you want to support what I'm trying to do here, okay? Not just these, but I do other fun little projects too, and I can talk about this during the Q&A. I have a couple ways you can support. Have I been talking for 43 minutes? Good Lord. Okay. If you want to give like a one-time donation, hey, there's this site called Buy Me a Coffee, and you can buy me like a $5 coffee. I'm already over caffeinated, so maybe I'll put it towards rent or real food. Okay. But you can go to buymeacoffee.com/plateauastro. That would be a huge help. Or if you want to be part of this here, Patreon. Of course I have Patreon. Everybody's a Patreon. Everybody's begging for money. Okay. Nobody has any money anymore. Who's giving to this? Okay. I support Patreons. Yes, I do. Yes, I do have Patreon. I don't really do a great push for this for the last year, but I'm going to start doing that as I'm going to be doing more writing and more video stuff. Not just streams like this, but actually more edited video things. Patreon. Yeah, I have a few different tiers. Low is $2.50 a month. Okay, Canadian. We're not talking American money here. Okay, they recently changed it so I can put in Canadian dollars. If you do want to give $2.50 a month, we're talking what? 62.5 cents a week? I'll take it. That's like 10 cents a day. You have the power. Here it is, patreon.com/plateau_astro. I'm really trying to make a go at trying to make this a business, and that would be so cool if you could help. In fact, so cool, you would be part of this list of supporters here, okay? That we got Adam, Ivan, Neil, Daniel, Annalise, Jairo, Dave, Marissa, Robert, Tatiana, AJ, Lise, Gustavo, Paula, Nisa, Anna, Nagme, Mo, Emma, Deb, Marie, Tim, and those last two are not family members, I swear. Wink, wink. Thank you. Thank you so much for all your help. That is so good, so good. I do a little podcast here and there. I write little Patreon-only blog posts to sort of show you how I'm turning this into a business. It's fun. It's fun. It should help out. $2.50 a month. That's nothing. That's nothing. Okay. You can probably steal that from the give a penny, take a penny jar. Do they still have those? I don't think they do. Okay. Future skies. One last thing. A coloring book. You probably heard me yammer on about this coloring book that I've been doing. Yes. We made a lot of good sales. That sounds weird. We made sales. We sold quite a few, actually, more than I thought we would. This coloring book that we made for 2021, it has 10 scenes of different scenes in the night sky we're going to see here in Montreal throughout the year. Some of you already received it. If you're a Patreon supporter, some tiers get this for free. So, hey, if you do sign up, you can get one of these for free. 20 bones. The artists have all been paid for it. They got their fair payment for it. And this does help me, actually, too. February 18th, though, okay? February 18th. It's an interesting day for humanity, okay? Why? Mars. We have built robots, and we have thrown them towards the red planet. We said, get over there, okay? February 18th. NASA is landing their Perseverance rover on the red planet. What I want to do is let everybody sort of take part in this and have a little bit of a Montreal spin on it. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, I've hired out somebody who actually works with Mars rover data. Her name's Deborah Roddy. Some of you might already know her and follow her. I've hired her to draw what the sky will look like on the day that our robots land on Mars. And it just so happens, the moon is going to be right beside Mars. So she drew this for us, and this is what it'll look like right there. This is from Duluth and Laval in the middle of the plateau. This is as plateau and astro as it gets. Let's get a little bigger here, okay? You know that goofy lamp shop? It's not goofy, it's actually really cute. That is the building on the left there. In the top right, you can see the moon right there, and up and to the right of that is Mars, okay? And you can see the cross there, of course, okay? This is what the sky will look like if you're at Duluth and Laval on February 18th, the day that humans land our little pesky robot on Mars, okay? Beside that is a cafe, and I've asked them, hey, could I print off a bunch of these, and could people take them for free from your cafe? That's what they're going to do. I'm going to have more information about this. I'm going to make an event for this. But Cafe ISO, you can go there and you can pick them up. I'll have more details. They don't have them yet. Don't storm the place. And steal from there. They're going to give them away for free. And on February 18th, they might. We got to check for this. This isn't confirmed yet. They might stay open and offer, not free. You got to pay for it. A coffee and hot chocolate, so we can all take a look. I might bring my telescope out, hook it up to my laptop, so we can get close-up views of Moon and Mars. Yes, it even has featured clouds up there. Cumulus, cirronimbus, who knows? Already has clouds built in. Who knows? Hopefully it will be clear. If it isn't, well, we'll figure something else out. Deborah Roddy, fantastic. She a smart cookie, and she actually works with Mars data. I couldn't think of anybody better to draw this than her. Sure, that slide can be there. Let's get some real questions though. Let's bring this up here. Let's take that away. I think I can bring people up here. Okay, here we go. We got some questions. We got some chatter. Let's get some. Love the idea of your visual live stream essays. Free for us, but a great gift to hire you for virtual birthdays, parties, sync cassettes, and more. Well, thank you, Sylvie. Sylvie, thank you. Robin Edgar, good timing. I just posted my photos of tonight's International Space Station flyover. Yes, there was several space station flyovers. There was 2 yesterday, and there's one tonight. I was prepping for this, so I couldn't see it, but there is the link for it right there. Jeremy, we got some very great commentary here. Sup, yo. Good one. Yes. Stellarium. I love Stellarium. Among other things, helped me find the International Space Station. It's great. Don't drink the retrograde. Okay. Here we have a question. Here's Natalie. Natalie Waylett. I think I'm pronouncing this finally correctly. Natalie Waylett. We do a show together for kids called Cosmic Club. Did it last Saturday. More in the pipeline. It would appear that people love the drama of freaking out about a planet retrograding every 3 to 4 months. Yes. What is pain if it's not shared? Jeremy Dillon, Question. What planets have the fastest orbits in order in the solar system? This is actually a really good one, okay? What degree does being close to the sun have to do with Mercury's speed? This is a perfect question. Okay, so yes, we have 8 planets in our solar system. We've got the sun in the middle, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The fastest ones, and this is so far as we know, at least in our solar system, in other ones out there, probably the same story, though maybe Natalie actually could help me out on this question. The closer you are to the sun, the greater the gravitational pull. Okay, I wasn't prepared for this, so I could screw this up. The greater the gravitational pull, greater the gravitational pull, the faster you're going to whip around the sun. So the closer you are, the faster you're going to go around. Mercury being the closest takes about 3 months. Venus, a little bit farther away, takes 8 months. Earth takes, you want to take a guess? 1 year, 365 days. Mars takes about 2 years. Maybe it's just less than 2 years around there. Jupiter, farther still, takes about 11, 12, 13. I always get that one mixed up. Saturn, almost 30 years, 29.5. 29.5. So the farther away you are from the sun, the slower it takes for you to go around. Also, too, you have a wider area to cover too. It's just like a racetrack. Okay. If you only have to go, 5 meters around it, you can do that very, very quickly. If you have to go 50 meters around it, it's going to take you a longer time to go. You have to cover more area. In fact, here's some fun ones. Uranus takes 84 years, I believe, to go around. So we ought to have words for people that make it to 84 years old and beyond, like trans-Uraniusins or something like that. Neptune takes about 165, if I remember right. Well, what happened? What happened around that time? Okay. Well, Canada became a country about 153 years ago. In all the time that Canada has been a country, Neptune hasn't gone around the sun once. Okay? Canada, I think it's an everlasting, always been here type of thing. Well, Neptune would have something to say about that. Pluto, a dwarf planet, don't at me, takes about 248 years to go around. It's a good thing I put that about in there, because I knew the exact answer. It's on top of mind. It takes 248 years for it to go around. We discovered Pluto in 1930. So what's that? 91 years ago. In the 91 years that we've known Pluto has existed, it hasn't even gone around the Earth 30%, 33%. Okay? Long time. Good question. Romeo and Juliet. That was an answer. A statement. If anybody else wants to throw other Shakespeare novellas in there, let me know. Okay, Manon. Is the retrograde similar to the effect on a bowling ball when it appears to roll backwards but keeps rolling forwards? Ooh, I think that's like a totally different domain of physics that I'm not. I think that's more backspin. You see this with golf as well. Different effect, I would say. Yeah, retrograde is just an illusion from our point of view here on Earth. We're all going around the sun. Earth is going slightly slower than Mercury is. And so when Mercury overtakes us, we get to see it do the retrograde motion, that sort of loop thing right there. Actually, a good question. I might bring up a website in a second here. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. From Felicia Leporacci. Maybe I'm adding accents which don't need to be accents. If Mercury moving backwards is an illusion, why do astrologers tell us not to make big life decisions? So, this is a good question. Okay. Okay. We were talking about mercurial, the definition of that word. I'll bring that up again. Give me 1 second. Mercurial. Yes, here we go. Mercurial. Okay. Mercurial. Subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind. Okay. Mercurial. Mercury moves very fast. Mercury moves very, very fast. Okay. It is kind of also known as sort of like the messenger planet. I'm phrasing that a little bit strange. Obviously, when we send messages, we want them to go very quickly, okay? In fact, I think the latest, it's not a probe, the flyby thing, maybe it's orbiter, called the messenger. Maybe it is a probe. The mission's called Messenger or something like that, okay? There is a composer called Gustav Holt. Could be wrong about that. If somebody knows, put this in the message. Gustav Holt, okay, did a series called The Planets. And he wrote a song for each of them. And I think the Mercury one is called Mercury the Messenger, something like that. I could be wrong. Anyways, the reason, you know, we call sending messages related to Mercury is because it's moving so fast. And that's sort of our hope for, I guess, the postage system. Now, I don't know the histrionics of why astrologers would say communication is bad during that time. My guess, if I can add sort of one number together and another number together, is, okay, Mercury is the planet of messages, okay? And because it's appearing to move backwards, maybe that means like negative communication, okay? Maybe that's the best that I could do for this, okay? Mercury appearing to move backwards, negative communication. But hey, my gosh, if we have a live updates. Gustav Holst. I think I'm adding German to that name, which it does not need to be. So the regional question. Sorry, I get sidetracked. If Mercury moving backwards is an illusion, why do astrologers tell us to make big life decisions? So okay, I think I take a little bit of a personal care not to talk too much about my thoughts on astrology, because I know I have a lot of people who are into astrology that sort of follow me, and so I don't think I've come up with a great way to talk about astrology that is sort of very inclusive of people's beliefs, and find it sort of to tune in with facts. That is sort of my job, effectively, to talk about things factually, science-based perspective, but also be mindful that there are certain groups that really do enjoy this. Something I've learned in the last 5-6 years, the queer community is really into astrology, okay? I don't think it's good teacher practice for me to tick off people right away about their, if you want to call it beliefs, I guess you could. So I haven't quite squared that nail yet. I'm trying to find a great thing that would talk about astrology in a way that is factual and still maintains respect for people's sort of the way that they live. I think, and I say this of sort of all spiritual things, we're all looking for an explanation, aren't we? Okay, we're all looking for some way to make sense of the world. At one time that was, Catholicism for me, and now it's something else. For other people, it might be a different religion. For some people, it might be the stars aligning in certain ways. Okay, I don't fault people for wanting to try to find different ways to add reason into their world. I think just now I'll cap that is just be a little bit mindful of making sure that you're not being blinded by other things. What a non-answer, Trevor. Okay. Sylvie, a SATURNINE song by UK mate. We have music recommendations from the crowd here. Thank you. Sylvie, ayahuasca. Yes. Well, we could have a bunch of different. Well, let's keep that up there. All right. Another question. I mean, yeah, some people do use psychedelics to make sense of the world. As I look at my, Doors of Perception from Huxley. Okay. Question from Marie-Claude. Deraps. If we are in the southern hemisphere right now, does Mercury retrograde too? Great question. Yes, absolutely, it does. It isn't dependent on the hemisphere that we're in. The sky would be. Oh no, I wouldn't say it this way. I was going to say it would appear upside down. The reason for that, well, I have a globe here. This is a really good question. I'll see if I can get something nice. So here we are. We are in Montreal. We are right here. Okay. If we were to travel all the way to, say, let us go to Uruguay, in Montevideo, okay? I'm on video, so Montevideo, okay? We would be looking at the sky, but we would have to sort of turn the other way to be able to look at the same thing in the sky. I'll try to make this a little bit clearer. Let's say we have, pretend this is the moon, okay? This is real improv here, okay? We have the moon right here, okay? And the moon is usually about right here. If we are in the northern hemisphere right here, in order for us to see the moon, we would have to look downwards like this. If we were in the southern hemisphere, we would be right here. We would have to look upwards like this. Now, if we're looking at the moon like this, we would see it this way. But from down here, we would have to flip our head like that. This is something I did not realize in my entire time in Australia because I was an idiot and I was 21. I did not realize that the moon appears upside down in the southern hemisphere. This did not occur to me. I was into space too, but I was not in my right mind for that year. Why do I bring this up? So some things in the southern hemisphere do look different. The moon, for instance, there's some constellations that we don't see in the southern hemisphere. But as far as the Mercury in retrograde, we would still see it appearing to move backwards relative to the stars that are behind it, as we would here in the northern hemisphere. But it would just be moving more left than right. Oof, I think we would it would still be in retrograde there, but just because everything is upside down, it would just be looking like it's moving in the opposite direction. I'll prepare a better answer for that in the future. I'll hide that. Sylvie is telling us about ayahuasca as a plant medicine that can take over the world for certain. Doors perception. Yes, absolutely. There's actually, it includes heaven and hell. Yes, in there. Welcome to the Sunday night ayahuasca extravaganza. I don't know what you call it. So, if there's other questions here, I'll gladly answer them. I'll just take a drink of water. How about we do that? We should all have a drink of water. Talk about belief systems. Water. Other things. I couldn't put this, I didn't have time to put this into the slides, but I was wondering, we were looking, Mo had a great question about how many times can we see Mercury go into retrograde? And I found out, I guess Mercury retrograde happens about 3 to 4 times a year. It's about 3.5 times on average. Venus, it happens about every 18 months. We could look at other planets, how often that happens. I think Mars, let me just pull this up here. Give me a second. Mars list of retrogrades. Mars retrograde periods. Not very often. So 2005, I see 4 in 7 years there. So it's every, I don't know, couple of years. Not very often. So Natalie had the question, why do we only hear about Mercury going into retrograde? It's because it happens so frequently. Venus, a little bit less often. Mars, I would imagine less so. Actually, I should check that. And then Saturn and Jupiter, I actually don't know those either, but I'm going to presume that it is less than Mars as well. Okay. If there's no other questions, Jiminy, Christmas. I've talked for an hour and 4 minutes. Where does it all go? Where does it all go? He asked himself. Okay. I think that's and Robin Edgar has a great point here. It's Gustav Holt with an S between the L and T. Gustav Holst. I'm probably adding too much Dutch or something into that. The Montreal Symphony Orchestra recorded an award-winning CD of Holst's, I enjoy that capitalized S there, The Planets, and there's a YouTube link for it right there. So, Karina, good. I think that's all. I think that's good. I'll give you another minute just if you do have any closer questions there, take that off. Anything else? I think that's it for me. Support. I'll just say this one last time, just because Trevor's been looking at his bank account, and we got to sort of be realistic here. Mercurial, that's good. Saturnine, 20.5 years. Fox video support. You could do a one-time donation with the buy me a coffee there, but Patreon would be super, super helpful. I'm hoping to build this up over the next couple of months here. I do have some plans for 2021 for some special things. What I would really, really, really like to do is to start sort of documenting Canada's role of getting back to the moon in the next few years. I think I'm going to do a special sort of a stream about that in the next next month or so, something like that. So if you do want to support, patreon.com/plateau_astro. Those $2.50 a month. That's that. A newsletter. I'll close with this too. I do have a newsletter at where's the best place to do it? I will share my screen. How about I'll do that? I'll go to plateauastro.com. One sec. And take that off. Remove. Stop screen. And I'll share a different Chrome tab. There we go. You can see that? Yep, that's good. Okay. I do have a, for the Future Skies notebook, a Future Skies 2021. Plateau Skies, Future Skies. Yeah. So this is a page showing all about the coloring book that we've made. I'll update it soon, but there is a newsletter I'm doing just for the coloring book, but then also the general one called Splashdown right there. So if you want to get on the weekly newsletter, we got to end this really soon. Talking about signing up to your newsletter is the most boring content ever. I do a weekly newsletter called Splashdown. It comes out every Sunday night. I have to do that immediately after this, but I include what you're going to see in the sky and some things you can watch out for. Streams like this, I'll announce that stuff there, and media links. An article you should read, a video you should watch, and then every week I put in a song that I've really been listening to that week. Usually it's a Montreal band. Try to do that. Hope you enjoyed that. So yeah, all right, cool. I think we should really end it right here before I go too off the rails here, because I've been talking for an hour and 8 minutes. My gosh, my stove broke. Okay, that happened today. It's probably just a wire I need to fix in there. Okay. Mercury retrograde is, as an ill omen, has been around since the Victorian spiritualism craze. This is stuff I have to read a bit more about. I may not say jive with it as far as a belief system for me, but I would like to sort of understand it a bit more. Is there a book, Salima Nawaz? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There's anything you sort of more about like the history of this. I am interested in it. Again, I want to cage it with like, it's not my cup of tea because I'm an astronomer, not so much astrologer, but I am curious about the history of it. So anyways, okay, we gotta go. It's Sunday. It's 9:08. Come on, we gotta get going. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that was fun. If you have suggestions for other topics you want covered in sort of an essay form, I hope I can be a bit more prepared next time. Oof, it was tough. Oof. This one's not easy to do. Okay, let's go. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.